I'm Jim Masters from PBS, from Connecticut Perspective TV on WTNH Channel 8 in New Haven, also Close-Up TV News and Close-Up Talk Radio. Thanks for joining us here at the 6th Annual Film Industry Mixer. And as we continue, we have another special guest we'd like to introduce to you. His name is Mark Mason. Mark, welcome to our show.
It's good to be
Mark
here.
Manson.
Manson, yeah.
And you are, he's got an amazing story if you didn't know about Mark. You are a police officer, and you have been for some 20 years.
Yes.
15 of which with the Hartford Police Department. And you're also a movie maker.
Movie maker.
You're a creator.
It's my passion.
It's your passion.
Yes.
So you've been doing that for so many years, you know, keeping the streets safe in Hartford, Connecticut, the capital city. But also at the same time, you've had this undercurrent, this calling, this passion to want to make. When did you realize that's what you wanted to do?
I've always wanted to do that. Always, since I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a TV buff. I like going to the movies.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but you know, it was something that I never thought that I could be that one to do that.
Right.
So,
what was the inspiration? What was that aha moment that said, I can do it?
You know, I believe that if you're a healthy individual, you know, you have no obstacles stopping. There's nothing to stop you. You just go and you do it. If you don't succeed with it, then at least you could say you tried it. And a lot of things that I've done in my life, you know, things that I always wanted to do, I got to give it a shot. Right. You know, and there's some things that I didn't make, but the majority I have. So, you know, you just keep going along, and I've been having some luck with this.
Absolutely.
Movie making.
Tell us about the first movie, The Second District. I mean, that.
Yeah,
amazing.
Second District. Basically, after The Wire went off the air, and The Wire was on point. Show. It really grasped me. You know, there's a lot of police shows that are out there, and you know, they got the Hollywood side to it. You know, I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah,
but, you know,
absolutely.
when you sit back and I saw The Wire, I was like, that's the way it really is.
Yeah.
So
it's not as glamorized as some of the other shows.
Exactly.
Everything ends perfectly in an
Everything
hour.
ends perfectly right. And after that show went off the air, you know, my mind was really clicking. I said, someone needs to come up and do something kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
And you know, I waited and waited and waited, and I says, okay, I'll do it. So I ended up, you know, I like it's reality based, but it's script driven. Right. I like things to be where if you're like a doctor, or even if you're the gang members on the street, I want it to be on point. Where if you're a police officer in LA, or a doctor in Chicago, or a gang member even in Hartford, you know, that's the way it really is. And that's the way I like to go.
So the Second District, was that based on Hartford? Loosely?
It wasn't based on Hartford, and that's one of the issues that I would always get. You know,
people
this is a show about Hartford. It's not about Hartford. It's about any city. Right. You know, metropolitan city. Yeah, I mean, I just want to use Hartford because this is where I'm from. Right. This is what I know. Makes it easier. And I think Hartford has a lot to offer. And, you know, and I think the movie industry skips over Hartford. Yeah. And it needs to get back here. Right. So, you know, there's a dark side to it, but there's also going to be a good side to it. Right. You know, so you know, if I had the opportunity, or when I do have the opportunity, that's what it's going to be about. So when you look at that dark side, thinking it's gangs, it's drugs, it's this, it's that. Right. There's going to be a good side to it. But what do people want to see in a movie? Yeah, they want to see what's right. They want to see that. That's the stuff they want to see. So now there's a sort of like a sequel that you've made. Tell us about that. I created another show, something similar to Second District, but it's a different storyline. And the direction that I went this time was motion picture, not network television. Right. I felt that and after talking to my partners, it's a little bit easier. Not easier in the sense of getting it done, but I mean, it's a little bit easier where you can, you know, take your time. It's on your timeline. Right. And to get it television done. Is much more time-driven. Right. It's demanding. You got deadlines, stuff like that. So, you know, I'm lucky. You know, I got a good team. This time it's small. Denise Hannon-Gross, who's out there in the audience, and Dwayne Butler. From, she's hiding now. Yeah, I know. I kept telling her she's going to come out here with me. She said no. But you have a good support system, a great team of people around you. Great team around me. And that's important, isn't it? That's very important. People who are believing the same dream you are. Exactly. Living it. And one of the biggest ones was Sonolith Studios. They came on board. They came on board. And, you know, once they they came on board and I went down to get a tour of the studios, I was like, wow.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Done a lot of work there, too. So, so again, a sequel. So tell us a little bit about the story itself.
The story is about 3 young inner city youths that live in the inner city. One wanted to be an entrepreneur, a businessman. The other one was more of a follower, and the other one had his dreams set as to what he wanted to do, which to be a police officer. Unfortunately, the entrepreneur, he ended up getting caught up into the drug scene, and he was taken under the wing of a big drug dealer that's going to be in Hartford. That, saying he's too old for this now. Now he has to pass the torch down, and he ended up getting that torch, becoming very powerful. And in the north end of the city, and the one that without direction kind of was not sure what he wanted to do, and he ended up getting on board with his other friend, the drug dealer, with the power guy. The other one was more like me. I mean, he went to the military, actually went to the Coast Guard, he got out, became a police officer in Hartford. So they all know each other. And
do you use elements of yourself in the story, like in this case?
Small elements, right. And but bits and pieces of, even I was at work yesterday, and we ended up with a scene, and just the people that I talked to, where there was a guy firing off a weapon, and you're talking to them, and and you really sit down, and that's the thing, because there's a side to it. There's always that side, and you never get to see that side of the criminal side. These guys, I mean, of course, I don't associate myself with them only at work, but there is a side to them, and I think that side needs to get out, just like there's a side to a police officer, and that side needs to get out.
Well, is there a message in your movies? There's entertainment, obviously, it's going to draw people in, but is there a message in maybe trying to provide hope or turn things around?
Exactly, and that's one of the things that we wanted to touch on, because the character that I created for the one that's going to be the follower, he's kind of bullied, and I want to kind of bring that element in. So when I'm talking to the writer, David, he's out of New York, I want that message in there. We're not going to come out and say it, but I want people to catch that, and I want to make sure they catch that.
Fantastic. So how do people find out more about you and the movies? Websites, or where can they find out more about Mark
Right
Manson?
now we're doing a campaign. We're trying to raise a little bit of funds right now. Actually, the campaign ends, it was a 45-day campaign on Indiegogo.com, and then they have to search the beat, and we're looking for a little bit of donations there. Once we get those donations locked in, then we're pretty much going to be setting sail. But if they log on to Indiegogo.com /thebeat, we got till Wednesday, and I was talking to Denise on the way down, and we're thinking that if we don't reach our goal, we'll try to put it back on again, see if we can get it. But we're going to be looking good. We're going to be looking good.
Terrific. Well, best of luck with everything. Yeah, and
appreciate it.
As a movie maker and creator, and keeping our city streets safe as well.
It's a big job.
That's right. And I don't do right on red unless it says
you can come right
just
along.
So you know. And I use my signal lights. Mark Manson, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck.
Thanks a lot.
I'm Jim Masters.